What's up everyone, and today I'm bringing a deck profile on my Hazy Flames. Now, Hazy Flames is a very interesting deck profile that is built around summoning high-level monsters to the field, and the Hazy Flames essentially make themselves immune to a lot of things. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First off, I run 3 Hazy Flame Periton. Now, the Hazy Flames cannot be special summoned except by a Hazy Flame monster's effect, and your opponent cannot target this card with card effects, and all the Hazy Flames have that sort of protection. But Periton, you can send 1 fire monster from your hand to the graveyard, attribute this card, special summon 2 Hazy Flame monsters from your deck. This is a card you always want to see in your opening hand. Because what you would do is you would grab the Hazy Flame Hydra, and whenever Hydra is used as XYZ material for an XYZ summon, you take a Hazy Flame and in your graveyard and attach it to what it's being used as material for. So usually you'll just use the 1 Periton to go into 2 Hydra or any other Hazy Flame really. You always want to see this in your opening hand or have a way to get to it, because if you don't really have this one, then your plays are very, very limited. Next, I run 3 Hydra. Hydra, when it is XYZ, an XYZ monster using Hydra as material gains this effect. When it is XYZ summoned, you can target 1 Hazy Flame monster in your graveyard, attach that target to this card as an XYZ material. So let's say, for example, use Periton to send itself and another Hazy Flame to summon 2 Hydras. You can use those 2 Hydras to go into one of your rank 6s, which will then grab you 2 more. So you'll literally have 4 materials. And it definitely comes up in very important and one of the other extra deck cards. Next, I run 3 Sphinx. Sphinx, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects, like all the others. And this has a really cool effect. So we're going to declare 1 card type, monster, spell, or trap. Send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. Then if you send the declared card, you can special summon a Hazy Flame from your graveyard or your hand. So let's say you call monster and you send a monster. Then you can summon a Hazy Flame from hand or grave. And if not, well, then you whiff. Next, I run 3 Hazy Flame Cerberus. Cerberus is the only Hazy Flame that can normal summon itself without attributing, but its attack becomes 1000. And when this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Hazy card from your deck to your hand. Sometimes, let's say you're going second, then you're probably going to want to crash it, because the one unfortunate thing with the Hazy Flames, as you can all see, they're higher levels. So getting them onto the field is the hard part. Now, there is a Hazy card that basically takes away that whole cost. But if you don't have it, or a way to get to it, or the Muslim of the Emperor, which kind of helps that too, you're very restricted on what you're going to be able to do. So summon Cerberus, crash it, destroy itself, add the Hazy, might be a good option. Now, here's a card that, when you think of Hazy Flames, you will never think of running. And that is Yukio Punk Shurikasai. Now, you're probably like, why are you playing Punks and Hazy Flames? That makes no sense. Well, once it gets to the spells, it'll make a lot more sense. Because I do run 3 E-Telly. Like I said before, if you don't have the Hazy Pillar or Mausoleum of the Emperor or a way to get to it, you're not really going to have that great of a board. And even if you have Periton and you don't have those 2, it's not going to do a whole lot. That's where I run 3 E-Telly. And Punk was essentially just the best option for that. That way, there are 2 uses for this. The first off is getting a body to the field, which I can then attribute for a Hazy Flame. Then I can use the Hazy Flame's effect. Or like, let's say I got Periton and E-Telly. Summon the Shurikasai, attribute it for the Periton, then use Periton's effect. Or you can use it for a synchro play. And the main reason I am running Shurikasai is because it has a quick effect where I can synchro summon into a Punk during my turn, or my opponent's turn. And all the Hazy Flames are level 6s. So literally 1 Hazy Flame and Shurikasai. We can just go into the Amazing Punk Dragon. Or yeah, the Amazing Dragon. Which will then give us a pop as well. So, all around just a very solid card. Also run 3 Ash and 3 DD Crow. Some good hand traps to run. Moving on to spells, I run 3 Hazy Pillar. Hazy Pillar is a card you're always going to want to see in your opening hand, because if you don't have it, or the Muslim of the Emperor, then you're in a not too great spot. So with Hazy Pillar, you can also summon Hazy Flame monsters for 1 less tribute. They only require 1 tribute, so essentially you can just normal summon them. Well, to be honest, I don't really know why they're level 6s to begin with. Doesn't really make sense to me, but that's just how they're made. Additionally, you target 1 face-up XYZ monster control, Attach one Hazy Flame monster from your hand or your side of the field to that XYZ monster as XYZ material. And note, it just says one face of XYZ monster. It does not say Hazy Flame XYZ monster. So you can use it with other stuff as well. Next, as I've said, I run 3 Mausoleum of the Emperor. You have to run this. If you don't see Hazy Pillar, then you want to see Mausoleum of the Emperor, which isn't as good as Hazy Pillar, but, you know, it gets it done. So, Mausoleum of the Emperor, during any main phase, turn player can pay 1,000 life points times the number of monsters that normally are required for a tribute summon. Max of 2,000, obviously. It's like having 6 copies of Hazy Pillar, more or less. Of course, I run the one Terraforming because you want to see it. Next, I run 3 Small World. Even if you see the Periton, or even if you see Hazy Pillar or Mausoleum of the Emperor, if you don't have the Periton, there's not really a whole lot of boards you can really make. Small World can kind of help with that fact to get you 2 Periton. Now, for Small World, do you have a bridge card in the form of Ash Blossom? Because all the Hazy Flames share fire and level 6 in common. However, Ash Blossom, it only shares fire. So you can either go Hazy Flame into Ash, and then into the other Hazy Flame. So Ash is your bridge for Small World. Also run 3 Pot of Prosperity. You know, you want to dig for the cards you want to see. 3 Atelli, as I've said before. As well as 2 Fire Formation Tenki. Sphinx is a Beast Warrior. Why not? Lastly, for the traps, 3 Infinite Impermanents. Moving on to the extra deck. I run 1 Hazy Flame Basal Trice. I think I'm saying that right. Regardless, it gains effects depending on how many materials this card has. If it has 3 or more, this card gains 200 attack for each XYZ material. 4 or more, this card cannot be targeted by opponent's card effects. 5 or more, this card cannot be destroyed by card effects. So it comes kind of like a beast deck, although there are better options, which is why I only run the one of. Next, I have 3 copies of Evolzor Solda, which I do not have. Evolzor Solda is really cool. It requires 2 level 6 dinosaurs, which is aka the Hydra. And when your opponent special summons a monster, you detach 1 XYZ material from this card, destroy that monster. And with Hydra, and you being able to add 2 additional materials to the XYZ monster, so essentially you got like 4 summon negates, more or less. So imagine having 4 solemn judgments, but without having to pay life points. Yeah, that's definitely really good. So you definitely want to run that, as it is probably one of the most important pieces in the deck. Also run 2 Photon Strike Bouncer. Bouncer's negate, more or less. Also run the 1 Ptolemy M7. Also run Utopic Future and the Utopic Draco Future. Sometimes you're going to have multiple XYZ monsters on the field. Sometimes. And if you have that, definitely have a good option for that. Also run 3 copies of Zeus. This deck doesn't really have a whole lot of kill potential. I'd say it's more or less just like a kind of beat down deck in a way. So having the Zeus to be able to see its turn, grab another Zeus, and to just blow up your opponent's board whenever you want to. So it's really good. And the 1 Yukio Punk Amazing Dragon. Amazing Dragon, if his Synchrosonic target cards your opponent controls up to the number of level 3 psychic type monsters with different names you control, and in your graveyard, which you've only run 1, and we're only going to have 1, return them to the hand. You can also target a Punk monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So you can also summon the Shirkusai just to be a body or whatever you need to use it for. You can also use it again for another tribute. Also run the 1 Nightmare Unicorn, and the 1 access code to help close out games. That's it for my Hazy Flames. What do you think of Hazy Flames? Think it's pretty good? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.